So the question arises on this problem, how to get a multi-layer 2D DXF file. We could right click on this face and we could export that face as a DXF file, but that would only give us that particular face, and there's these holes below that we may want into our 2D DXF file. Before we go to find a solution for that, I noticed that the sketches are not fully defined, and I would see a thumbtack or a push pin here if they were fully defined. So let's edit the sketch and take a look at the sketch. When I examine this sketch, it appears to me that it was an imported sketch. Looking at the geometry, that would be typically what I would see from imported from some other program. If I go and I try to dimension some of the geometry, the dimensions don't make logical sense. They look like they were put in there by eyeball rather than made to some now this one is to 3 decimal places, but many of the other dimensions are going out to 6 decimal places or so. And I thought that maybe it was an issue of conversion from inch to metric, or metric to inch, but I checked under metric dimensions as well, or units, and it doesn't make sense as metric either. I also noticed that there is an extraneous point up here. It doesn't appear to be symmetrical, and if I drag this, I see that point stays behind. I also see that there are tangents missing. I'm going to go back to where it was, and so if I turn on the display of all constraints, I would expect to see a tangent here, tangent, tangent, tangent. And so the tangent constraints are missing. So when I see geometry like this that was imported, the dimensions don't make logical sense. It's missing tangents. There's extraneous geometry here. I start to worry about the quality of that geometry right from the beginning. And then I'm going to edit the second sketch, and I would have done these 2 lines as construction, so I'll go ahead and change those to construction. I also probably would have only done one feature or one tooth of this and then did a pattern rather than pattern sketch. But I also noticed that there's some obvious areas where there's a tangent missing here. You can see visually that that's not tangent, and so I would really start to worry about the quality of this geometry, not even withstanding the dimensions. Do the dimensions make logical sense? And I would argue that no, the dimensions don't make logical sense. But let's assume that this is what we have to work with. So we're going to put lipstick on a pig here. So that's what we have to work with. And I'm going to start a drawing, and I don't need a sheet so big, so I'm going to edit the sheet size, and I'm going to go to an A size sheet. And then I don't need the title block, and I also don't need the border, because all I want is that 2D geometry. And then I'll place a base view of the part, and I want it at 1:1 scale, or if you want to scale it up or down, but I'm going to assume that you're modeling at 1:1 scale in the 21st century, and so that's what we want. So now I have this geometry as a 2D drawing. Now I can save this, and so I'll do save copy as, and I'll set the file format as a DXF file. So there's my file name. I'll go ahead and now I could go to some options and see what kind of options there are available as well, and I could set up some mapping for AutoCAD, but I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and then I will go to AutoCAD. And so let's go ahead and open then this file in AutoCAD. I need to set my file type to DXF, and here's that servo horn. I'll open that. And so then here is my 2D geometry in as a DXF file that I can use going to a laser cutter or whatever going forward.